game number 1, KT versus NaJin this time around. Bullets versus Sword. Renekton, Cassidy in the first couple bans. Oh, there's Caitlyn ban against Prey. That's a good ban against him.
It's just a solid ban in the current meta as well.
Absolutely.
Prey, one of the, Prey's just an excellent AD carry, as many of you out there know, and we're also seeing the Mundo ban, so they're trying to kind of push Limit to his limit right now. Oh, well, and there's the Sivir first pick, so Score going to be snapping that one right up. Sivir, a very common first pick for the last few months here in Korea. KT Bullets used Sivir extensively in their semi-final loss against SK Telecom T1K in Champions Winter.
Yeah, and you mentioned, pushing Limit to his limit. It's true. You always want to pick on the new guy if you've got a match where you're going up against a player like that. It's something that's existed in team sports for thousands of years, really.
Yeah, and if they know that Limit's champion pool is limited, then they can, and Insect feels he has a counter to what he's going to play. Helios's Evelynn, the last time we saw it was there's no nice way to put this, a train wreck on Frost. It was some of the lowest pressure Evelynn jungling I have ever seen.
A little bit of redemption. We've seen Prey have a good game with Draven, so we'll see if Helios can have a good game with Evelynn, and it's a Shyvana pick, a nice, safe, powerful top laner for Limit to take the Summoner's Rift. And there is that Olaf, you mentioned that before. Zero had played a bit of Olaf mid, but we'll see if they lock it in. Switching around a little bit now.
But the Olaf, too, it's worth noting that Insect is one of the few top laners here in Korea that is known for playing top Olaf when it's not really been in the current metagame. So that's a hard pick to say, but yes, Zero has traditionally played Olaf mid. We're really reaching back here to the beginning of 2013 when he was pulling these tricks, but it was effective at the time, and there's the Lulu pick coming up probably in the mid lane, but of course, if you want to fast push bottom, Lulu Sivir, a powerful lane combination.
And we talked about the strong combination that Sivir Olaf gives the team as well, too, so some strong picks early on for the Bullets. 2 over to NaJin now. Little black sword grab, looks like possibly Lucian here. Another very strong champion right now. I mean, we're seeing all 3 of the kind of holy trinity of powerful AD carries right now on the screen. Caitlyn, Sivir, and Lucian. You see them pretty much every game at this point.
That's what's kind of in meta. It's interesting, though. We'll have to see later tonight, because Arrow, now on the KT Arrows, formerly on Zenix Storm, is known for his Draven play. And the weird thing is that Draven, not many AD carries play him because he does take a lot of practice to keep up with your axe catching mechanics, but he is extremely good against Sivir in lane.
Well, we saw what Draven could do last night in Champions.
That was disgusting.
And we'll see. In our next game, we're going to have Arrow, who's known as a big Draven player, so we may get some Draven in tonight. Lucian Annie, a very popular bot lane. It looks like that's going to be the choice for NaJin Black Sword.
Usually we see Annie banned against Kayn because Kayn,
for good reason,
is very formidable on that champion. Kayn is, like Mappa, a heavy engaged support player. He's going to be the main kind of shot caller on this NaJin team right now. Although it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic changes with a veteran like Helios. In fact, it's possible that Helios wanted more of an opportunity. This is pure speculation to shot call. But Madlife being the main shot caller on Frost, Madlife and Shy, he may not have had too much of a voice in that team. So if NaJin felt like he was going to add some more structure, because that's been the problem with Black Sword, right? They've tried out Song on support because he brought better calling. It was always this balance on Black Sword where if they had Song on support, they had worse lane in duo, they had kind of worse mechanics on support but better calling, and they had Kayn, they had worse calls but better support play in lane.
Yeah, very true. LeBlanc the pickup, and Pantheon as well for the KT Bullets. Ryu, a known LeBlanc player, of course, we saw the highlight in the intro, and Pantheon, making a little bit of a comeback across regions lately. Second Pantheon we've seen in Korea, second Pantheon actually in Masters we've seen now. And Zero's going to take that champion to the jungle, and Insect will be playing that Olaf in top lane, like we were guessing earlier, so there we go.
Pantheon's a great pick. If you look at this NaJin Black Sword team right now, just because they don't have a lot of veteran players, their standout lane is definitely their duo lane. And so running Pantheon against Prey and Kane is great because if they ever push forward, you Grand Skyfall behind them and then you double kill them.
Yep.
So that's going to put an immense amount of pressure onto the bottom lane of NaJin Blacksword. So I really like this pickup that KT Bullets have debuted against this Blacksword team.
Yeah, we'll see if they can handle it. Stretch-O-Vision back once again.
And of course, Ryu's LeBlanc, you saw him in the player intro getting a triple kill on that champion. It is one of his stronger pickups right now, and a lot of kill potential in the mid lane right now as well. So pressure's going to be on Nagne. That said, Nagne showed some insane Gragas play at the World Championship this year, and he is to be feared on that champion.
Oh, absolutely, man. I love that Ryu pick with LeBlanc, too, because during the highlight they showed before, the Greencasters were literally yelling, he just keeps killing people. We'll see if he can do it today. As you can see, Nagne with that Gragas in the mid lane. A solid team overall, but the big question mark is Helios on that Evelyn. You know, will he be able to redeem himself for a lackluster performance last time out? Back when he was still a CJ. We're about to find out, guys. The game is loading. Game number 1, Sword versus Bullets. Let's get in the game. And here we are, guys. Welcome to Summoner's Rift Set 1, Bullets versus Black Sword. Do you bring a sword to a gunfight?
I do not, typically.
Find out. I don't usually either. Well,
I bring my rocket launcher.
what if your sword is a gunblade like in Final Fantasy VIII? I would
Trick question.
I would bring that sword to a gunfight. That's right. My middle name is Squall.
Doa Squall.
Doa Squall. That's right. My first name is Doa now.
It is.
I guess it's pretty much
Do Squall.
Do Squallin. I don't know. That sounds like a strange. It sounds like a relative of like the duck-billed platypus, the Do Squallin.
It's a good creature name.
Some sort of poisonous mammal from Australia.
Well, typical line of scrimmage coming out here so far. Ryu poking at Helios here in this mid lane, and of course Insect playing Olaf top. This is a pocket pick for him, and you know the KT Bullets had a very deceptive draft phase right there. Just picking the Lulu and the Olaf early meant that they had a lot of options on how to fill out that roster based on what they saw in their final rotation. So, KT Bullets continuing to have some of the best pick and ban phases here in Korea, just in terms of making sure that they have as many avenues as possible that they can fool their opponents. I'm sure Ryu can play Lulu mid, and I know Zero can play Olaf. So they bought themselves a lot of time with those picks, knowing that they were powerful, and then figuring out exactly where they were going to use them a little bit later on.
That is really cool when a champion can be used effectively more than one lane. It adds so much depth to the strategy. Looks like normal lanes, no TV1. Brain King, Score and Maffa. Bot lane, classic matchup. And we'll see if Score and Maffa can get that push going that they want to. You know, really, both of these lanes can bully quite hard. Especially if you look at the supports, too. Both Annie and Lulu have really, really good pokes. Annie with the autos and Lulu, of course, with the glitter lance.
Yeah. It's just the wave clear from Simmer Lulu. I mean, if you want to talk about wave clear in a duo lane early on, the Ricochet, Boomerang Blade, and Glitter Lance are just absolutely brutal. So Kane and Prey, they can expect to be pushed all the way back up to the turret right now pretty consistently. And it's going to be a little bit challenging for them. They're going to need some help from this Evelyn. However, you'll notice Helios went from buff to buff very quickly, only now doing his Wolves for level 3. And Zero coming back down here. Slower red buff, but both junglers is going to be on that side of the map. Zero needs to be looking for a counter gank right here.
The duo lane, this could be pretty important here.
Ryu doing some early zoning. It can be a little bit hard to farm against that LeBlanc due to the poke early on. Helios kind of sneaking through the mid lane right there. See if he can get an angle onto Ryu. He's probably not going to get much though.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit of damage may be able to push him out of lane. He's going to head up to top lane instead. And second limit, doing what top lane players do best when you just kind of non-stop. Limit a bit low, but Insight in trouble. There's the Ignite going down. Helios looks for first blood, and he'll get it. There it is. And that's exactly what you want to see if you're NaJin Blacksword with that Helios on Evelyn.
Very good gank right there. I don't think he expected it just due to the jungle pathing of Evelyn starting there at the red buff, coming all the way back up to the top. And Helios already having a presence on the map, so starting out much better than he did in his previous form that we saw on CJ Frost.
And we'll see if he can keep it up.
You know, one of those things too, if you get cut by your team, this can really reinvigorate a player if they kind of have to, if they're forced into an awkward position to change teams or something like that, it can really relight the fire of competition as well. You know, you want to prove something, prove that you're still good enough to be in the professional scene. Well, you may double down on practice.
We'll talk about, you know, proving something. Limit as well. His parents didn't want him to be a pro gamer. They gave him 6 months basically to make it, and he did. Managed to get picked up. And here he is, so.
That's right, his 6 months was up too at the end of February, so he
right.
barely just squeaked in.
Pretty impressive. That work ethic, man. Helios looking to maybe get a bit of a gank in the bot lane, we'll see.
Yes.
Waiting for Score and Moffat to push up just a little bit farther.
Zero looking to answer right here. Insect does have Ignite up top, but he won't be going for it early on. But the CS difference really starting to open up between Nagne and Ryu with that mid lane, and that's actually evening out the goal total so far in this game.
Yeah. Ryu doing really well, and no big surprise. LeBlanc, certainly a good champion for him. Oh, but he may get caught a bit here. Helios has got the drop on him. Waiting for, there it is, there's the W used, and now Ryu may be in a little bit of trouble, a lot of damage. They force the flash. He gets away.
That was really good patience to wait for that W to be down.
Exactly.
Before making that gank right there, thereby forcing the flash. And that'll make Ryu play a lot more cautiously in this lane right now. Zero really hasn't had any effect on this game yet. He's even behind in farm right here. Hasn't really gone back to base to buy either. Gets a deep ward in Wolves, but
trying quite a bit of stress too. I mean, coming in, this is his first performance on the team. Really wants to do well, and so far, just nothing.
Well, that said, he's lived with his KT organization for over a year now, so he's going to be comfortable with all of his teammates coming into this game. That at least will relieve some of the stress. They know him quite well.
Moving up. Oh, that lane and bot is still way pushed up. Score and Maffa able to finally get a little bit of damage on the turret. Prey at about a third health. He's got that Doran's Blade, but not a whole lot of sustain otherwise. Zero coming back to do the whites in his enemy jungle. Just missed Helios, it looks like.
Yeah, this is the better call right here. Look at this. Pink ward will see Helios, but he's going to go ahead and clear that out, or try Ryu. Looking for a little bit of protection. Zero pulls back for a minute just to see if they can get the jump onto Helios, but they won't get it yet. Nagne now 6.
They really should have Dragus playing the accordion when he does that retail thing. Otherwise, like, what, is there like a guy in the barrel playing the accordion? Where is that sound coming from?
It's from the light of the repo.
Yes, so. Oh, Maffa gets stunned. Got a little bit too close there. Prey in a bit of trouble. Oh, Score with a nice hit at the very end. Man, that was close. I did not think that was going to do that much damage. I don't think Prey thought that either.
No, definitely did not, because he didn't even use barrier right there. He got totally surprised by the amount of damage coming out of Boomerang Blade.
It can be really deceptive, man. Especially if you get hit right at the very end of it.
Yeah, Sivir is extremely strong with her poke and push in this early game, and although Prey and Kane previous to that point had done a very good job of keeping damage off the turret, they're going to be so lucky now, and Score going to have a pretty big edge once he gets back. See, emptying his pockets right there. Ryu coming over to get the blue buff. Helios going to go ahead and ward. See if there's any pressure coming in from Pantheon right here. And Zero just hasn't really done much of anything. You know, if you're playing Pantheon against Evelyn, you do have kind of a dueling advantage.
That is true, but you have to find Evelyn to be able to make that work.
You can aggressively counter jungle in that case. And no sustain yet on the score. He's going for the doubles right now while he waits for Bray to go ahead and push this back out. Instead opting for that faster BF sword, so he'll be ahead in damage, but lower on sustain. Bray going for that vampiric scepter instead.
Right. I feel like you can do that with Sivir too, because the poke is just so heavy. You know, you just do so much damage, like we saw with Boomerang Blade, that even with that Vamp Scepter, sometimes it's tough to keep up.
So the wards right here, we saw Zero place that Wolf ward earlier, and now we just watched Maffa place a ward that can see white. So you can't see Evelyn in the jungle, but what the KT Bullets are doing.
Oh, man, Limit. Very low, the Ignite ticking down.
Oh!
One more tick, and that would have done it. Lucky break for Limit in the top lane.
Very lucky. So
Man.
as I was saying, you know, these wards right here are watching the camps because they can see Evelyn visible when she's actually attacking, and Ryu in a bit of trouble.
Ryu in a lot of trouble here. I don't think he can get away from this one. No flash right now, gets knocked away by the explosive cast. Ignite ticking down. Oh man, Nagne pretty lucky there because that ultimate did not go the way he wanted it to, but luckily the Ignite just barely enough. There's a stun on the mouth, a little bit of action in the bot lane. Kane doing what he can, scored very low. Trey pops out with the culling. Minions doing score a little bit of a favor.
Oh!
There's the flash. Tibbers right on the score. Will the Ignite finish him off? Tibbers doing some AoE damage as well, forcing Maffa away. And Kane, if he can get another stun, and he just barely can't do it. Such a close time in that bot lane. Helios coming down, and Zero needs to get there as well.
Wow, that's some pretty impressive counter aggression right there. Helios coming in. Let's take a look at this replay up in the top lane. Insect trying to farm under this turret, and Limit just gets a little bit frisky right here. Drops the Ignite, thinks he can get it, and simply vanishes out of the top lane. So Insect having a lot of trouble early on in this Olaf versus Shyvana matchup.
Yeah. Certainly seems that way.
Well, Zero's just so far behind right now. Spirit of the Elder Lizard already finished. On to Helios, and Zero only now just picking up a couple of long swords. Not even finishing that jungle item yet. Insect still pursuing Limit right here, getting some true damage down onto him.
What do you think we might see Zero just go for the Brutalizer just to get a little bit extra damage quicker?
Probably not. He's going to want that Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and then he may move into Brutalizer after that. But we'll see what his build actually ends up being here. It is a possibility. And here we go, Grand Skyfall
coming in. The man drop right onto Kane. There we go. Kane just gets evaporated. That is a lot of damage.
That's exactly what they want. They've opened up a good dragon attempt for themselves right here as well. Do they have enough pink wards? Pink ward goes down. Zero all ready and prepped for that one. And they'll be able to take this.
KT Bullets, you know, one of their hallmarks, being able to force those favorable objectives when it comes to Dragon and Baron. And now they're going to invade a little bit here. They catch Helios. Helios walks right into that one. That ward from Maffa, so crucial for that pick.
Both of these wards around this bottom lane. So the thing about the KT Bullets, they know they're going to shove up in this lane, and they know they've got the pressure from Pantheon as well. So coming in, they want to just protect themselves from behind. So instead of putting the wards around that bottom lane, you'll notice they put a pink ward above their own red buff so they can see if Evelyn's coming from behind through their own jungle. And then they just ward wolves and wraiths so they can actually see when Evelyn appears to do those camps, so they have an idea of where she is and then what direction she's going after she finished the camp. This is some really excellent Evelyn warding that we're seeing from KT Bullets that is very specific to just this jungler.
Man, here's the thing is that since Season 4, people have been trying to figure out how to deal with Evelyn. And man, KT Bullets have figured it out. Like, this is where you want wards, with an Evelyn on the other team.
Really smart warding. I've never seen this before.
Take notes.
But that said, in spite of these wards, Helios has managed to get a kill in both mid lane and top lane here. So while they are protecting the dual lane, they're not getting the same kind of information, and perhaps they are playing a bit too aggressively in the top and mid, given the circumstances.
Well, Evelyn is still Evelyn, and she'll take advantage of that in a heartbeat. Meanwhile, Ryu putting a little bit of pressure on that turret. We'll see if he roams all the way down the bottom or just gets hanged on for a little while. I think, yeah, there's a pink ward. There we go.
He's standing in a pink ward right now.
He is, yeah. He sees it now.
He's trying to bait Nagne in there because Zero is also there, but Not actually going to work. Some proxy farming coming in here from Limit. Limit gets hit with the underzone. Here we go.
In second, Limit going at it. Limit getting pushed back a bit, activated that burnout. Does not have his ultimate at the moment. Actually, he does. Limit a little bit low. It's a duel. Who's going to take it? Limit, big trouble. Ignite ticking down. Burnout going away.
Oh, he's made it. He's made it.
There it is. Insect gets the kill, but pays for it. At least Insect was able to come away with something there.
Yeah, but Pantheon nowhere to be found right now.
Oh, there he
Skyfall.
is. I think he's going to be found right now. Comes out, claims that blue buff, goes in onto Helios as well. The chain's missed by Ryu. Helio gets away. Did he grab that blue buff? Or
Yes,
did
Helios
pick it up.
No,
That was an
Helios
old one,
grabbed
huh?
Helios grabbed the blue buff
Oh,
right
okay.
there. So that was a really good transition from Helios right there after losing his top laner. Just straight into the blue buff, and Helios, man, he looks so much more decisive than I'm used to seeing him.
Well, you know, like you said, having an experience like being cut from a team is a kind of a traumatizing thing, and he's coming back strong. Speaking of strong, Ryu looking pretty good and coming towards that bot lane, decided he couldn't make anything happen there. He's going to pull back. Saw NaJin roaming down as well. Meanwhile, Zero Holsing's down in the mid lane.
So Sightstone up first for Maffa. He does have a little bit more, of course, in his pockets thanks to the kill and a couple of assists he's managed to get so far. Just a slight lead here.
Well, he's got the tier 2 for the Ancient Coin as well, so he's making plenty of money. And getting that extra health on Lulu is so nice because it lets you be even more aggressive and even more of a bully. So, yeah, I always love to go for Sightstone really early with her.
Ryu's still playing pretty aggressively right there, but flashing back, Limit just goes to ward his lane right now. All towers still up. A bit surprising that 15 minutes into this game, this Lulu-Sivir combination hasn't been able to shut down this tower.
Well, it's really been a lot
Here's
about...
a dive coming into bot.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a lot about the junglers and the opportunities that they can create for their teams, and finally we're going to have one of those turrets go down. Bot lane will be taken by the KT Bullets, and it looks like the top lane, no danger for their turret on the other side. Insect chasing Limit away.
Limit moving up in items right here. 3 deaths already for Insect. He's been really punished, but Limit having a great debut performance here.
1-1-2, not bad. Already has that Sunfire Cage. Oh, Ryu.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there.
Oh, Ryu does not want to be there, man. Helios chasing him. There's the passive. Man drop coming in. Here comes Zero, the flash from Ryu. Barely lives to that explosive cast. Zero in big trouble there. Not a good choice to ult in at that point.
Ryu blindly going over the wall right there. He did not expect Gragas to be there, and then Evelyn on the other side, and actually Zero kind of giving his life for that one. Limit already rotating into the mid lane, seeing what he can get done, but instead, hold on. Insect going to be
on the flash, Q on the Ryu. Ryu came back a little bit too close. Ignite taken away. Oh, and Maffa doesn't quite have the shield to save it. Wild Growth wasn't enough.
Ryu having some problems right here, and it's the second time he's kind of died to Ignite after Wing or flashing away.
Yep.
And
Kane on your screen now.
Yeah, Kane just setting up some really beautiful timbers. That first one where he waited to reinitiate with it was pretty nice. And that one also just a good roam over into the mid lane to pick up that kill, and we're back to dead even right now. However, this is what we're used to seeing from Black Sword, and really the test comes when the first towers start going down, because that's where Black Sword always fell behind. They didn't look as decisive.
Let's take a look at that replay. This chain of
Ryu was
events
just surprised right there.
KT,
He was surprised he didn't expect NaJin to be there. And then right here, Ryu flashes out, and by the time he gets out, the man drop was already in motion, so it couldn't be canceled.
Yep. The reviewers from the Final Fantasy series are so disappointed in Zero right now. They're like, no man, you have to wait a full turn before jump ends.
We're still watching the replay here. Ryu.
Ryu just comes back a little bit too close. Wild Growth.
That was just really not smart by Ryu right there. That was a series of not particularly smart plays by Ryu.
Yeah.
Not having a ward over into that Wraith pit, getting a little greedy for some silly Wraith farm, and then ending up paying for it and getting himself and a member of his team killed.
Dragon Dance going on right now. And will NaJin Black Sword be able to claim it? It's a bit risky here. Looks like they may just get it. KT Thinking about coming in. There's a Grand Skyball. Pantheon coming down, misses though. Oh, they do manage to get Kane very, very quickly. A kill for Nagne though as he takes out Ryu. And that is a big explosive cast, separating the team really nicely. That's what KT wanted. Mafa on the run now as well. Insect throwing that undertow, but NaJin Blacksword intelligently will just turn onto this dragon. Better to take the objective than to try to chase people down. Glitterland steal attempt from Mafa.
Looks like they're going to get a mid turret for this as well, quite possibly. There's not a lot of wave player there, just Olaf. So. And, you know, lane Olaf maxes Reckless Swing and not Undertow, so his wave clear not as good as Jungle Olaf typically saying, and that is a big swing in gold in favor of NaJin Blacksword.
Yeah, you know, and I feel like this all stems back to that mistake a little bit earlier by Ryu.
Yeah, it does. But the impressive thing that we're seeing here is NaJin Blacksword, as silly as this sounds, actually grouped for a dragon. Previously, Expansion would have just split push top.
Yeah, that's right.
So here we go. Ryu gets caught out and dies immediately, and they trade the mid for support, but at this point they just don't have enough damage. What an explosive cast there from Nagne. This is why he is feared on this Gragas, and after that goes down, there's just nothing else they can do.
Yeah. Man, I love, too, that they just turned right around and went for the dragon immediately. You know, they're like, all right, we don't need those kills. Those are nowhere near as important as getting that dragon in.
So Score still has an advantage with the team falling behind by a little over 1,000 gold, still definitely in it.
Yeah, it's a close game.
So what KT Bullets need to do now is just continue to make picks. They have the global advantage. They have a burst advantage and a mobility advantage. So they've got to use this Pantheon. It really comes down to how Zero uses his ults and his map pressure from this point forward, because they're not going to be able to 5v5.
You got to think that the mentality on the team is a little bit shaken at the moment. You know, Insect and Ryu not having the best solo lane performances right now. And Ryu especially after having a strong early game. They're going to go on underneath not to limit here. A little bit of damage there, pushing back the lane a bit. Got the ultimate anyway.
Yeah, the thing about the way that most Korean players build LeBlanc, though, is that you don't rush the Deathfire Grasp.
You don't have that burst.
You don't have that burst, so it does make it harder. And this Shyvana is going to be extremely difficult for this team to kill, perhaps forever, actually, but definitely until DFG comes down. And we've seen what happens, I mean, in games where you have a fed Shyvana versus Sivir. In fact, we saw this in KT Bullets versus SK Telecom in the semis for Champions Winter when Impact just ran amok and Score was never able to kill Shyvana. Shyvana would just jump on top of Sivir, and there was nothing that Sivir could do. There's nothing Score could do to kite him out or kill him.
Right, right.
You get a lot of armor, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, late game 2 with the Blade of the Ruined King, and once you can stick to Sivir, Sivir just doesn't scale well late.
That's right. Limit doing some more damage to that turret. Insect chasing him. Limit going into the enemy jungle. Zero is coming up through there. Can they catch him, though?
They can't really kill him, though, is the problem.
That's the thing. Wow, Zero rotating back to that mid lane, the 2-2 turret, in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, very smart of him to rotate on the outside of the jungle right there. There's nothing he can do. And now these rotations from NaJin Blacksword, look at this. We see Limit go ahead, pretend like he's proxy farming, hide in the jungle for a bit, and then push a mid tower. This is the most decisive team play I have seen from NaJin Blacksword in a long time, Doa.
Well, it's really refreshing to see, you know, I mean, NaJin's first episode. Oh, and there's a nice Timbers onto Ryu. Ryu gets away with that wild growth. He's going to be okay. They're going to back off now. Insect chasing down Kane. He's in a bit of trouble. Timbers doing that AoE. Zero low health. Kane, oh, barely dies to that Ignite. They did get Insect, though. A kill from Lucian. Prey picking that one up. And Kane, man, just barely living.
That was really a lot of overcommitment for Kane right there, considering he had blown all of his cooldowns already. So there's not really a lot of point to go that hard for the support.
He's bloodthirsty, man. You can't blame him. That's just what we bloodthirsty supports do.
This is very surprising from the KT Bullets. It does appear that, you know, Zero just didn't have a lot of pressure until he hit 6. He didn't do anything, and that's, I mean, when you look at a lane like Pantheon LeBlanc, and you think about that mid lane kill potential, and the fact that he never even really tried to make any kind of move on the mid lane, it's a bit surprising. Helios just crushing Zero in terms of jungling this game.
3-1 and 4. Already has that Banshee's Veil now, too.
That's a weird build.
Yeah.
I've never seen this kind of build before onto jungle Evelyn.
I suppose it does help him handle Ryu, you know?
Oh, it does, yeah, for sure.
And it looks like it's going to be a top lane turret in favor of NaJin Black Sword. They're going to be able to push into a 3-1 advantage turret-wise in this game. Meanwhile, the KT Bolts push up bot lane pretty aggressively.
Ryu and Zero are here. They're going to...
Oh, Helios.
There we go.
Oh!
Force the flash right there.
Yeah.
But right now, Helios is 2 levels up on Zero. So significantly stronger overall. Zero now switching over to tank items. He realizes that he's not going to be useful for damage. Zero's only role right now is hard initiation. It's the only thing he's good for because of how far behind he is.
Follow this guy. That's about as hard of an initiation as you can really do.
Yeah, also his W is his stun really a great gap closer.
Oh, yeah. Well, so far, a little bit of a lull in the action as the KT Bullets go back. They're going to go ahead and give that blue buff over. For now, Nagne come down and maybe claim that. Yeah, they're just going to wait till he gets back, I'd imagine. So you have to wonder, you know, how much of this is going to be about Baron very soon. It's going to be about Dragon at this present moment, but soon, after this next Dragon encounter, Baron is going to be the next objective of choice.
Yeah, I don't know, things are getting pretty desperate for the KT Bullets. They're going to just get massively outscaled here by this NaJin Black Sword team. And here we go, and it's M5-man here onto Dragon.
They have to be very careful about their grouping because here comes Kane and the one-man Timbers onto Zero. A little bit of damage. A nice explosive cast separates the team once again. Insect taking a lot of damage, and here comes Limit. Over the top, Insect barely dies on the culling. Lives. Lulu Shield helping out there as well. Score on the run, and NaJin Black Sword just muscles their way into the Baron pit and pushes out KT. Zero trying to recall. Will they find him? They do with that ward. And NaJin's Sword, they'll be able to take this turret and probably rotate back around.
They may be able to take 2 towers right here, depending on how aggressive they get. Everyone is recalling, but they're not going to go for it. Instead, they're going to recall themselves. It's also a good time if they want to get vision control to go back and get some wards and then get on the map around the Baron. Yeah. But KT Bullets, it's looking pretty hopeless right now. I mean, we can talk about only a less than a 3K gold difference, but this is based purely on team compositions. KT had to do a lot more in the early game to win in this comp, and well, they just didn't do it, and now this Shyvana is essentially unkillable.
Yeah. Well, it's really cool to see with Sword as well that once the mid-game happened, every move they made resulted in an objective, you know? Push here, objective, or fake here, get a pick here, objective.
Well, it changes their, yeah, of course, and it changes their team fight, or their team style entirely. Expression would just push, and he would win his lane, and then he would push and push and push and push and push. And yes, he would get other turrets, but it didn't lead to a very dynamic play style for the team as a whole, and the earlier grouping really helping them out right here.
This willingness to group up in team fight reminds me of the NaJin Sword of days gone by, you know?
That's right, Mock Noon days.
That's right, yeah. And Limit, you know, is in that top lane NaJin Sword legacy, which does include Mock Noon. It's a lot to live up to. Even though Mock Noon may not be the star he used to be, a lot of fans have a lot of good memories about him in the top lane on this team. It was his team, you know?
Yeah, it was his team. That's very true. So KT Bullets just making a line of wards in every jungle entrance across the map right here. They're trying to make sure they can crack the rotations as soon as they start. And these are great wards if you want to create a pick, because you have to know exactly when they go into your jungle so you can time out where everyone is, and you know where they're going to have just only a few members, and they may be able to get one right here. You can see everybody moving up as they see Prey and Kane going into the jungle. These are good wards.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's so easy to get nervous and forget about basic things like warding, you know, when you get behind, but if there was ever a good solo queue lesson to be taken from this game, it's if you're behind, just ward. You know, ward all the jungle entrances, and then at least you'll be able to make decisions based on where they're coming from.
It depends on what kind of composition you want to, because if you want to 5v5, you could. Oh no!
Oh boy! Ryu caught again. There's the ultimate. Gets the flash. Man drop coming in. Zero trying to make the difference, but I don't think they're going to save Ryu. The ignite taking away, and it does kill him. Kane with the bloodthirsty support kill. They get a stun onto Zero as well. Zero in trouble. There's a wild growth keeping him alive, but Limit over the wall. Another Q from Annie, but it's just not enough. They'll be content with Ryu, and that's going to be maybe a Baron. I would say almost definitely a Baron for NaJin Blacksword.
No, this
We'll see. I guess they're turning around back to middle.
I honestly can't tell if this is just not very good shot calling from the KT Bullets, or whether this is Zero with a happy trigger finger on his ult, because it could be. Because if Ryu's telling him to go, this is one of those things where you can't really blame a player unless you know what is going on specifically in the game.
Yeah, like Ryu could be, going, save me, I got caught,
Yeah.
So you can't really blame it all on Zero.
Or it could have happened so fast that Zero just instantly ulted and decided not to cancel or something like that. But in that situation, KT Bullets continue to fall further behind, and NaJin Blacksword dominantly controlling this game.
Really good. And here we go, Ryu just getting caught yet again. It's really been the story of the match for the KT Bullets. Ryu gets caught, and then Zero just jumps into the middle of a 1v3.
And then they both die.
Exactly. Well, this time Zero didn't die, but most of the time. Happy NaJin Sword fans there. They see maybe they can catch Limit, but again, he's just not going to take any damage from anybody at this point.
Yeah, and NaJin Blacksword too. Extensive warding through the jungle right now. 3 lenses for each of our teams here.
Yeah. Usually what you see these days. So late game approaches, you have 3 lenses. It's so important to keep those wards cleared.
So it looks like Evelyn's going to be building into a Randuin's next. So the final clear right there. And still wards keeping tabs on NaJin Blacksword in spite of their best efforts to clear right now. 45 seconds until Dragon. But they're probably not going to move those wards. However, a lot of pinks around the Baron pit right now for Sword.
Well, they want it. We saw after that last team fight, they started to make a move up towards Baron and then called it off. Having only gotten 1 kill, it would have been a little bit dangerous, but they want it.
This is a little bit more worrying from NaJin Sword right here. The reason why is if you're going to retreat and recall, you don't want to start spamming on the map because you die.
Limit going 1v5, a little bit of damage on the score.
They can't kill him.
They can.
The main reason why, I mean, unless KT Bullets get a series of picks right here, that it's going to be, nearly impossible for them to win this game, is because Limit is they just can't kill him. Just can't kill him.
1v5 extended, they could probably do it. Normally, and Dragon's not going to be going down anytime soon. So speaking of Dragons, that objective is up. Helios.
They're trying to bait it just a little bit. There's a ward in that brush, so.
I think he's got Dragon so fast now. Maybe see a steal? No, not quite. NaJin Sword grabbing the Dragon, calling activated, and they're going to just push the KT Bullets back a little bit. As they move up towards the river and up towards Baron, we may see that Baron dance starting here now from NaJin Sword. We'll see if people want to go back and buy. It looks like Kane does.
Kane displaying, as our observers showing us, a pretty interesting Annie build right here. Going for, of course, the Talisman and the Sightstone common items, but then boots of mobility into Distortion Enchantment. He's 100% the initiation on his team right now, and it's hard to argue with how well he's done so far this game in landing some Timbers, some pretty clutch Timbers. He may not have a lot of assists or kills, only about 50% kill contribution, but when he's hit him, it's mattered. And he's also just drawn so much aggro from KT Bullets as they have tried to chase him down and failed on a couple of occasions.
We see him pick up the Chalice as well right now, and yeah, maybe it's reasonable, but I'd like to think it's That's what I'd be doing.
I mean, you don't really need Crucible against the composition that they only.
That's why I'm wondering, actually.
Their only hard CC that they have is a LeBlanc root and a Pantheon stun.
You do go into kind of build autopilot sometimes, but I don't know. I'd be very happy if that turned out to be.
Yeah, well, based on his build too, the additional CDR would cap him out right there as well.
Yeah.
And if he just wants to initiate all the time with Timbers, it would be a pretty good pickup, I think, in this situation. You're right, Doa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no pro, but I love having max cooldown reduction, just getting Timbers all the time, basically. And all the damage, too. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's on at max CDR. Ooh. We are on patch 4.1, and due to the Annie changes, the max CDR on Annie, you can pretty much have Timbers out all the time at level 3 ult.
So great. Turns Annie into kind of like a pet class. You know?
Yeah, it's true. It's great. And by pretty much all the time, I mean literally all the time.
We'll see what they go for. Pushing up this mid lane pretty aggressively right now. They know they can force a team fight. They're not afraid of fighting the KT Bullets right now.
KT Bullets just continually maneuvering, trying to get a big right. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there it is. Grand Slide ball coming in. Zero. Can they do anything? Insect over the top, but I think he's gone in a little bit too early. Pops Ragnarok to run away. There's the Wild Growth. NaJin backs off. Oh, another fantastic explosive cast, and that is going to rout the team. NaJin Black Sword looking good. Limit chases. Not fooled by the clone.
Well, he was fooled. He ignited the clone.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. He was fooled by the clone.
He turned on it again pretty quickly, and this will more than likely be an inhibitor right here. And honestly, KT Bullets, that was the best possible thing they could have done in that situation. They saw Limit ahead of the pack and heading back towards the Baron pit, and that was really their one chance to get somewhat of a fight without Shyvana being there. They know they can't kill Shyvana, so they tried their best, but it's just not enough at this point. The rest of NaJin Blacksword far too strong.
They really don't even need to run, man. They can fight this. Look at that. Ryu comes in and immediately dies. Yeah, they've got nothing to worry about at this point. That's a sad Ryu face right there. Haven't seen him look quite that sad for, well, since the end of last season, really.
Zero is an ignominious jungle debut for him. It's been a pretty sad Pantheon game.
That's right.
Helios, on the other hand, what a great debut for him on NaJin Black Sword.
No kidding. What a story of redemption for Helios. 3-1-7 on that jungle leveling. You know, if NaJin Sword keeps it up, we may just see Prey play Draven again tonight. If he plays in the third game, the Praven may return. There's Helios on your screen right now, looking pretty happy, and man, he has a right to be. Has that Randuin's now. What an impact he's had on this game.
Well, Baron is really up for grabs for NaJin if they want it.
Yep. That's right. And so.
He got Crucible, Doa. Now I'm sad.
Oh, there's no reason to have Crucible. I am sad.
So Helios just going full tank right here. I mean, he's got enough damage on his team, and after Limit has finished this Randuin's Omen, we can see him with the Vampiric Scepter lusting after that Blade of the Ruined King.
Desiring. Sounds like it's turning into like a perfume commercial or something. Desire for items.
Helios taking a shot from Baron right there, popping his veil.
Yeah. Oops. Kane.
This is the point in the game where I get annoyed that more Korean players don't upgrade the lens to the Oracle's lens, because if they had Oracle's lens, this ward clearing would be so much more efficient right now. If you have a 7K gold lead, you can afford 475 gold to go ahead and upgrade and make sure that you clear out your lens so you don't use all of your lenses at once.
I agree completely. And so, a lot of damage onto that 2-2 turret. NaJin Sword looks like they'll be able to take it out.
Yeah, Helios just zoning from behind right there.
Yeah.
LeBlanc can't do anything to him because he'll absorb it with his veil, and Ryu has to get out of there immediately.
Yep.
Time.
They're turning around again.
Time
They
has
can grab
come
that
for
blue buff.
Baroning.
They'll be able to grab the blue on their way there. And then it'll be Baron time. And they might just go right in on this. We'll see. Yeah, they're going for it. There is a ward. Here comes the KT Bullets. This is kind of their last chance. I don't think they're going to get there in time. Grand Skyball coming in. Zero's going to try to make a show of it. Comes in. Lands on Limit. Limit immediately back on the Insect. Off over the good Wild Growth. Ryu, though, everybody's taking so much damage from NaJin. There's just no chance. The Insect getting chased away. Helios, a little bit of damage onto him. But now he is chasing down some very low health members of the KT Bullets. And they can just turn.
Yep, and now they're just
Why not?
They're going to rush the base now.
Yeah.
Nobody actually stopping the recalls right there from KT Bullets.
Nope.
But Helios may have been able to do that, but they are going to at least just turn onto the turret. And NaJin had a great ultimate there just to go ahead and zone out the members while they turned onto Insect.
Oh, look at this. Oh, they're not going to turn around and go for Baron yet. All right, they are going to recall at this point. So a little bit of pressure put on Maffa, chasing down Helios. Got to be a little bit careful there, though.
I do want to point out that I really do believe that this Baron, they could have entirely done this Baron in the dark had they had an Oracle's Lens right here. It's such a small investment, but it really makes a big difference. Those 8 seconds of Oracles that you get can clear so many wards if you're 5-man with your team, and that's just obnoxious with the activated Baron right there.
Why not? Baron doesn't care who hits him, he only cares who's close by.
Will attack anything that moves.
Right, it's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. His vision is based on movement. At least a Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex, anyway.
Well, KT Bullets doing a decent job of keeping control over the Baron pit so that they at least have the opportunity to create a pick right here. Ryu, he doesn't have a DFG, so he's going for more kind of, I mean, he's not going to burst anybody down with this build, that's for sure.
I don't think so, no. Not going to see that Ryu triple kill like we saw in the intro highlight video.
His wave clear is better, though, so if he has to defend his base.
So he's got that going for him, at least. Limit, gonna walk right into a 1v3 with Big Boogie's on Savannah. A little bit of damage on to him, he's gonna just stay there. Helios coming in now, Zero in a little bit of trouble. Slow down, use this flash, there's the ultimate. I don't think Zero's making out of this one. The culling comes in, Frey grabs a kill. Will it be a Baron? Limit a little bit low, but his health is gonna come back so fast.
Yeah, well, they're not even gonna go for the Baron. They just let it turn right onto the inhibitor that's respawned right now. Get that pressure back down. Now, NaJin Blacksword, I think, is playing this a little bit too conservatively at the moment, but they've got that edge. They want to press this home and ultimately take the win right here.
Very cool. I mean, this is a little bit of an upset. I got to say, not a lot of people expecting Bullets get taken out by Sword in their current state. Insect gets stunned. There, whoa, the inhibitor actually lives. They have to be a little bit careful here. Ryu coming over the wall for just a moment. There's his explosive gas. Puts Maffa and Ryu against the wall. Frey takes down the inhibitor, and they're going to make it out.
That Gragas ult is doing an obscene amount of damage. It
really is, yeah.
Yeah, we're just looking at his build right there. He actually has Sonya's right now, 595 AP.
He's got a small nuclear bomb inside that barrel now at this point. It's pretty strong. And Frey just keeping top lane push up. The culling.
KT Bullets.
When you're playing League of Legends, you should really yell out the moves as you do them, you know, like some anime or something.
Oh, they're doing it.
They are. They're going to go for it. This is KT Bullets Baron. Can they take it? There is a ward there. NaJin in position, doesn't have his ult available, though. There's the barrel going in, and that's going to allow the rest of the team a nice command. Timberson, Wild Growth, keep score alive for just a moment. Limit over the top. Kane coming in to look for another sun, and there it is. Helios grabs that Baron away. And Frey gonna do some damage. Helios comes in for another kill. Keen grabs that one. NaJin in the top, tries the body slam onto Maffa. Double kill for Helios. Maffa on the run, and Helios not gonna let him get away. Maffa, the whimsy expires, and Kane coming in. Support versus support. Oh, but Helios gets that one. Oh well. He's pretty happy though. 6-1 and 10. They've got the ace, and that is gonna be the game. NaJin Blacksword. Upgraded by Helios, high fives all around. There's a surrender, and KT Bullets taken out by NaJin Blacksword in Game 1 of our Masters match tonight.
Pretty convincingly as well, and wow, I mean, just an incredibly strong first game on his new team for Helios, but really well done all around. Limit's first match, he was formerly known as Never Dies Lulu. In fact, Limit and NaJin used to play together on an amateur team, actually.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So they've got that going for them as well, used to playing together, and this new roster looks strong, and Helios brought a lot of pressure into that early game. Zero, on the other hand, looked totally lost. He didn't seem like he really knew how to play Pantheon.
Yeah, man, I mean, Helios is gone. Relios is here. So the KT organization